There's a lot of great Battletech stuff in that you can play the core, the game of armored combat. That's going to get you through like 90% of Battletech. But then we pull in the TAC Ops and we pull in the various supplements. And what's great about Battletech is you can scale things up. You could dial things down. You could play straight mechs. You could go combined arms. You could even pull in the role-playing aspects. But we're going to kind of push that to a side for a moment. There is a lot of Battletech. If you can think about it, naval units, it's out there. If you want to take the game from space to air to land, it's out there. You want to use dropships, it's out there. So within that framework, I was recently asked, we were looking at some missions and some custom stuff to play. And a friend asked, Fritz, where's the vibro bombs, the kind of the sonic mines? There was a reference to these mines that have connected cables that get buried underground and are set in the lore for the tonnage of a mech. And these are mech-sized mines. You step on it, like if you're a light or a medium, you're losing a leg, guaranteed. And they could be fine-tuned and set for the tonnage. So we were looking at an attacker versus defender city fight, city tech mission, and the question came up, where are these mines? Now they're there, so I'm still looking for them. But in that moment, I'm like, well, yeah, we played with mines a while back. There was a minefield. How would you play with that now? So while I'm hooking that up and trying to find that, asking the question, when we start to move outside of mechs and vehicles, stuff with stat blocks, and now we're moving into, say, fortifications or field guns, non-infantry field guns, like fixed field guns or mines, I view them like artillery. We want to balance them out, and it's not always as straightforward with battle value, although you could calculate battle value to everything. I would look at mines as part of a scenario, a larger wide scenario, meaning if you were defending a city, and it's never going to be exact, when you start pulling in these things that might not be fully defined in Battletech, but they exist, you can't really take a tournament type mindset where it's going to be equal or exact. You need to like literally roll the dice a little bit. So from that perspective, often when we do this, if we're saying, hey, let's have a city fight type mission where we're going in to take the central building of the city, the comm building, or kind of grab the mayor for ransom, like we have a defined target. We don't really care about collateral damage. We'll just call it urban renewal. And as a defender, you're there for all costs. So there's no forced withdrawal. There's no abandoning vehicles. It's going to be just a brutal fight to the city center. So you're naturally going to fortify stuff. So we jump into rules where maybe you take barricades. They might be mech barricades or they might be improvised barricades. We give them a structure value, some points. We might change them to a difficult type terrain to cross, or maybe even level 1, but no cover offered for mechs. So you have to kind of navigate through. But likewise with mines, I would come up with a stat block so players can understand, and occupying hexes or occupying points that if a mech moves in, you could say they go off. Or I would think I would rather play it where you move into a minefield area. As you move through that minefield, a 1 in 6 chance of it going off as you move through. Or if it's keyed towards a certain mech, a 1 in 6 chance, maybe 1 in 4. You could pull it a D4 to Battletech. It's not always a D6. You've got that D20 probably to track heat, right? That's like a great shortcut. Put a D20 for a heat tracker. But utilizing mines, utilizing these things, they exist in the universe. This is what's great about Battletech. It's about the mechs, but it's not just about the mechs. There are other things present in the sphere, in the game, absolutely pulling it in. So I'm going to go back now and find. I know it's there. I've seen it. But opening up your Battletech experience, taking the miniatures that you have in your collection, whether it's a big collection or a smaller collection, and saying, how can we sit down with the narrative and try something out? Be open to experimenting. If you get blown up and you lose the game, it's all good because you come back next week with a little bit more experience to play.